morning. Happy Friday to you. Hope you are having a great day and looking forward to an awesome weekend. Watched the footy last night. And the funny thing about watching the Rugby League last night, it's been a while since I've watched any sport. I still got bored at the end of it. It's funny, I love watching the footy, but then, I'm more of a rugby union fan than a rugby league fan. So it was interesting to get back into the old place of seeing the sport and then, hold on, what are you actually really wanting to do? Did you miss it that much? And that brings up a great, what I want to look at today is, touch on today is your perspective on your life is always perfectly. Reality is always perfect for you. Hey Ken, how you going? And one of the things that we look at when we look at it, if we look at our reality is always perfect, then it comes down to, well, how are we responding to it? What are we doing? How are we getting on? And so, when you look at things like this and you look at your life and, like I look at COVID, in a way, it's been a godsend to us, because it's helped us wake up. It's helped us realize hold on, we may have been asleep at the wheel. There's all these situations, down in lockdown. What's it done? It may have pushed some of us into some situations that made us take care of things that we had been ignoring. So it's been a good thing. When we look at the how many people now are looking closer at vaccines and the flu injections and actually starting to speak up for what they believe. And how many, whereas before everyone was just sort of letting it pass over us and sort of ignoring it. How many people are now actually stepping up and looking at how the politicians are working and all that sort of stuff, and there's a lot more questions are being asked. So yes, it may be a little bit painful as we're moving through things, yet one of the things with our reality that we can always guarantee is that we get the opportunity to let go our old wounds and grow and evolve beyond how we're being. And this is what we've got a lot to look at and enjoy in the place if we're able to stay conscious. What tends to happen for us, and we all do this, geez, I'm just as guilty as anybody else that does this. When you go into your victim consciousness, we tend to blame others for the way our reality is. And then, and we throw rocks at each other. We see that all the time, and countries have wars, and you may see it where you're arguing with somebody else or some conflict at work. You're basically standing there and you're throwing rocks at each other. That's one perspective of what's actually going on. The reality of what's there is because of the energy of what's been going on between you, and that's how you deal with it. The next level of awareness, a level of consciousness, is you start blaming yourself. You look at yourself, oh, I created this because of X, Y, Z. And that's a great taking responsibility for yourself. But then when you move, as you start awakening more, you realize that there is no one needs to be blamed, because there's nothing to be blamed. Everything's always perfect. And when we move into that place of seeing how everything is perfect, we are able then to glide through it with ease and grace. We see what the lessons and the teachings are there for us at any one time, and we begin to open and move into this higher levels of consciousness where we can make change. It's like we see people, with the COVID there, a lot of people have been dying, and just in Queensland, that guy died up in Blackwater or wherever it was. And it's brought a lot of attention to that. That soul on some level, this is a belief that I just know everything works properly, is happening properly. That soul says, hey, I'm going to tap out, I'm out of here. But what it's going to do is bring a lot of attention here, and it's going to build the conversation so people can get in and make sure this is cleaned out properly. So he taps out and leaves the planet. And people go in there, government goes in there, health goes in there, and everyone's jumping around doing what they're doing. And it just raises the level of awareness to make sure we get to clean that out properly. He chose to help us through doing that. And this is just the way I like to look at things, that everything happens for a reason. And a lot of people will go, oh, I missed, and this is why I looked at, mentioned the rugby league at the start. Oh, geez, I've missed the rugby league. And it was funny, I had been infatuated with sport and being in the infatuation, missing all the good parts. But there's lots of boring parts in it too that you don't think about it. And you think about this in your relationships, and you think about this in your work and what you used to do. Oh, I miss being able to go to the office and be with all the guys or the girls around the water cooler and, just the connecting. But then a lot of the time there's a lot of bitchiness going on there, and you forget about that. You're all infatuated with the good thing that you saw. But when we come back into balance and see the reality for what it is, and we actually take a bigger perspective of actually what's going on, we go, wow, this is great. Everything is happening as it's meant to raise our vibration, raise our consciousness, and help us evolve and grow into a better way of being. When we allow ourselves to take responsibility for that, we can move so far beyond. So notice in your life if you're blaming others. Notice in your life if you're blaming yourself for your reality. For your current reality is your current reality. It's happening for a reason. Look at the reality. Look at what's going on. If you're getting blocked in an area, you start looking, okay, so what's it trying to do? Oh, it's trying to nudge me left. Okay, I'll go left. Or I need to understand, to find the solution here. There's something here that I need to recognize to be able to take this beyond. This is making me, it's like doing weights. Sometimes our reality comes back at us and we find it hard to be able to lift a certain weight, to get over, to do something. It's like there's computer games. You get level 1, you got to get it to a certain score before you can go to level 2. Same with us. We get a certain level of consciousness, certain level of awareness on doing something, and then we go to the next grade. This starts in our schooling. You got to go to grade 1, grade 2. You don't get to grade 2 until you pass grade 1. And the same thing is what's going on in our life, in all areas, in all domains, in our health, in our relationships, in our finances, in our spiritual evolution in ourselves. For us to be able to wake up, for us to be able to be more loving and kind and treat the planet in a better way, maybe we've got to let go of some shit where we've been a bit of an arsehole, where we've been hanging on to our self-righteousness on that we should be able to have this. Maybe, like they did a while ago, started getting rid of the plastic bags from supermarkets. And it's all these sort of things happen for a reason, and at the moment of change, quite often we push back because it feels uncomfortable. But in that uncomfortableness, we're able to begin to start changing and opening up. And so when you look at your life and you look at what's going on, know that it is always perfect. Even if you feel like you're getting a shit sandwich, it's always perfect, because you went into that position to get that shit sandwich so you could actually learn, if you're really willing to look. And it can be hard at times. It can be really hard at times when you're trying to break through and understand it and clean yourself out and move beyond. But going through those hard times help us become stronger and go beyond. It's like one of the teachings that Ramdas did, when someone loses their child at a young age for a illness, or the parents have to bear the unbearable. Their heart breaks open, but in bearing that pain, there's greater level of love and compassion comes out of them. And you wouldn't wish it on anybody, yet lots of people walk that pathway. And we have those times in our life where we get brought to our knees. But it's there to help us break open so we can become more than what we've been being. And when we recognize that and we stop fighting against that, we become better in ourselves, and we actually start coming home to sitting in that place of love of self. So if you find you're looking at your reality, you're getting frustrated with being in the lockdown, or you're wanting the borders open, or wanting, you're getting pushed back, and you're finding you're blaming and shaming and justifying, Actually take a step back and go, hold on, what's the greater perspective here? How can I look at it from a different angle? And allow yourself to look at it from different perspectives. As you do, you'll see the answer and you'll realize that everything is perfect. You'll see the people that are pushing back in a certain direction, other people are defending themselves, and it's bringing it to a great crescendo where it goes, poof, and then she all opens up, and then, there's the truth. And then we set ourselves free. And then guess what? We'll get on to the next thing. And away we'll go again. But it's beautiful to watch, and it's a great way of when you start looking at life like that, let go of the infatuations of the things that you thought that you've lost, because you're putting them up on a pedestal. And we know anything that gets put up on a pedestal, they usually fall off. We take their legs out, they usually fail in some way. And we know it's a non-truth. There is always balance. There must always be balance in the universe. And where there's good, there's always bad. And the universe is always, when there's darkness, there is always light. There is always balance. And when we recognize that and remember that, we find that we're able to just be enjoy in ourselves in every situation. And some situations challenge us. It just happens. And when we find that our kids or someone's getting in our face and they're pushing something back at us and we're not liking it, we get the opportunity to say, wow, here's a growth period. This is one of my wounds that's getting pushed back against, one of my things that I need to allow myself to become more agile with. Maybe I need to become more structured in a certain way. Maybe I need to become more compassionate to people. Maybe I need to be compassionate to people or compassionate to myself. Maybe I need to not be so judgmental. Maybe I need to let go of some of my guilt or my fear of actually being able to be seen and actually able to allow someone to love me. Geez, wouldn't that be bad? Eh? Allowing someone to love you and actually allow yourself to really be vulnerable and let all that shit come out that you're scared of. Because we want it, but we hold ourselves free away from it. So have a look at your reality that you have in front of you and go, wow. And I look at my reality around me and I just feel so blessed all the time. Does it mean I don't get pissed off? No, I still get mad at stuff. Things still come up. And I let it go really quick because I catch myself, wow, there's part of the universe throwing back the energy of something that I need to look at. There's where I'm still getting caught. And the agitation comes up and you go, still caught. And you let it go. You shift your perspective of how you see it, how it thinks. And it loosens. And then all of a sudden, you let that energy go and then your reality changes. And then you can be doing the dance of the COVID, but it doesn't need to be catching you. You're watching people, you're doing the steps that work best and adding value and helping people going in whatever direction they need to be going. So just look at your life and where it can be. Are you infatuating something? And shaming and guilting something else? Or are you in balance? Are you making that, we should be this way. We should be no vaccines or we should be vaccines. It's, it's about choice. It's about seeing the truth. What's actually the truth? What works? So is the balance. And when we come into the balance, we recognize everything is there. And we can then choose which perspective and which way we want to go. It's not about forcing things on people. And as we can that starts to open up, the energy will take care of it. You're not going to try and do it yourself. It flows through you and flows with us. So, hey, enjoy, guys. Have an awesome Friday. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Okay, guys, take care. Keep smiling, eh? Cheers.